1 week and 1 day into the hydroponics out of the aquarium, and to date we have the lettuce seeds. This is a Grand Rapids, no, this is just a mixed lettuce. It is seeded, sprouted, and is growing quite well. Starting to get some real leaves coming up here. The stevia cuttings, I swear this guy has grown half an inch. Something interesting though more for this one is the leaves on the bottom are starting to turn black. Had a bit of aloe vera that broke off. I'm trying to see if it will root or not. I have no idea if it will. The other seeds, my basil, I have one lone seed coming up, and it looks really gnarly. And so far I haven't seen anything out of the other two types of lettuce. Now the seeds I've been using were 2 to 3 years old, so it could be quite simply that their seeds aren't any good. So my bell siphon, I'm having troubles with it. It'll basically just sit here and fit and flow and not really actually start a siphon. As you can see, I've added 2 weep holes down here at the bottom. Focus. And those allow the bell siphon to suck air when the water's all the way down, so I don't need to run a tube off the top to the bottom. It does it. It seems to work quite well. That combined with a hole that I've gotten drilled right about there on the air hose allows it to break siphon quite reliably. But now I'm having trouble with it starting siphoning. Water flow is what it is. My grow bed is quite large and quite empty as far as growing media is concerned. These pots are so small they're actually sitting on upside down pots which are empty. So to try to get more displacement, I've thrown a couple 2-liter bottles of water just to try to get more displacement in the grow bed, so that I can the water coming out of my Eheim filter can fill it up fast enough to cause this thing, the siphon, to start. So what's happening is it'll sit like this for 20-25 minutes. And then it'll finally start to siphon, but it's not starting a very good siphon. It'll actually bring the water down about a half an inch, and then that just sits there. The reason I know this is, well, not because of, fancy fluid dynamic calculations, or, brought in the aquaponics whisperer or anything like this. I just had to make the problem a little bit more clear. So to do that, I made the problem a little bit more clear. So I now have a clear bell siphon, just a glass upside down. And I'll show you what happens with this bell siphon. You can see the water is just overflowing just a little bit. I'll actually go into the system. So you can see the water level is just a little bit above the top of the standpipe. Kind of see it starting to flow down, See how it flows? So it will slowly build up a little bit more head so that you can just a little bit higher, and it'll slowly get up higher and higher and higher, and then it'll go to equilibrium, and there it'll sit. Which might be part of the problem. I'm getting the black in this is because the bottom of the thing stays wet, which is not something that I want. But I will show you what happens here on both ends as this bell siphon works. It's been about 10 minutes, and here you can see by what I mean by the water starts to come down just a little bit, siphons out just a little bit, and then stops. Water level, normally it tops out right at this ridge, and now it's below, and it'll just sit there. If you look at what's going on, sit down, you can see the water flowing to the tube, and we can actually see the water level, or the water level in the glass is higher. You can see the water flowing. The glass doesn't want to sit still. You see the water flowing down, and then the water level's a little bit lower. And all I need to do to get this running really well is pick up the water level a little bit. Pull it up a little bit, and that burps it, and that gets the water flowing really, really well. See how the water level's dropping? That's all I need. Now if you look, she's really, really dropping the water level fast. So now the siphon's working. If we go down here and look, you can see how it's spitting water out the exhaust tube, and also a lot of air bubbles. It's actually sucking a lot of that air in the top of the bell siphon out with it. Now I have my tube in the tank because I've had too much trouble with tubes falling out of tanks that aren't securely attached. If I cut the tube, here, so it just drained in the tank and didn't have the wasn't in the tank, it was just to the tank, I wouldn't have to drill the hole in the tube to break siphon. But here you can see it's flowing really good. The water level is now much higher up above the glass. Water's still filling up. Now we'll give it another minute or so, and it'll actually suck all the water out of the tank. And then you'll see what the what my holes here are about, or the drain tube coming out of the top of the tank, top of the bell siphon. A lot of people want a drain tube that comes down to the water level that they want. Put it out of the way. So the water's flowing really, really good, and we're just about there. It's sitting on the bottom, but there's a ridge all the way around, so it's pulling on the backside. So now you see it's pulling, sucking water, it's burping. Now those holes allow it to burp without more consistently, more reliably, because here, you see it's finding stasis, and it'll just sit here and run. It'll run like this for 5, 6, 7 minutes until it sucks just enough air that it breaks the siphon. And at that point, the moment it breaks the siphon up, I'll add just a little bit more air. There, it broke the siphon. Now water flows back down into the grow bed, and now we start all over again. So it'll fill back up, start the siphon, but not quite enough water flow to get a good solid siphon. So I think what I need to do is I just simply need to add more growing media into the grow bed, so that way I have a much greater displacement, so the water can fill the grow bed faster. That's my theory. So I'm going to try that and report back. But I think you've seen some of the issues that a bell siphon has, and why people will add the hose, and they'll just strap it down and it'll run right to the water level that they want, and that'll allow the siphon to break much more easily. On mine, I just added these 2 holes. One hole wouldn't do it, and the holes have got these holes are probably just a little bit too small because they're bubbling over, they're glossing over, they're holding liquid. So I need to make the hole a little bit bigger, so that way it'll suck air better and not want to resist the pulling air. So that's week 1, day 1 of my aquaponics system out of an aquarium.